Welcome on, Rory McSwiggan.
How are you doing, Philly?
I'm all good. How's
Are you
Rory?
well? I'm grand, yeah. If I could stop slipping, I'm slipping.
And why are we slipping, Rory? Why are we? Why are we sweating? It's not nerves, is it?
It's too sweaty in
Are
here.
you
I
nervous?
just cycled from across the waterside, and
To get out safe?
Yeah.
You get away from the water
I
side.
had to get away from the waterside.
That's all right, thank
Yeah,
God.
exactly. But no, I'm very good. I am on my holidays and not really having that much to do. All my work is finished for a couple of weeks, and I'm heading away soon to Belgium, Amsterdam on a
What are you doing
cycle.
there?
I'm gonna cycle about. I love getting on my bike. Getting on your bike is brilliant because you don't have to fill it up with petrol. You don't have to do anything. I just like
get a
getting on my
parking
bike.
ticket?
I was thinking 2 years ago I went to this is going to sound the strangest holiday. I went on my own to Manchester. Went over on the ferry, and I booked myself a couple of comedy gigs in Manchester and Liverpool, about 3 or 4, and then I booked into this place, did the comedy gigs at night, and then during the day just cycled about in Manchester, just like cycled around. I had nowhere to go. Like I wasn't like going to see anybody. I was just like, I just want to cycle about. I just like it, you know.
That's the best way to do it. We done the
Yeah.
same. We went to Edinburgh just for the day because we were bored. Me and Paddy one day. We just went and booked a flight that morning. Went to Edinburgh, 8 hours, and flew home at night.
Right, brilliant.
Just
Yeah.
for the sake of doing something.
It's class, you know. A change of scenery.
That's
We
all it is.
change of
We
scenery.
change of
Aye.
scenery, boy.
That's
We
a good. That's good.
And you wouldn't have cycled from there to Scotland just to do the Fringe or anything? No, you wouldn't have.
I used to see what I used to do. I went to the Fringe every year from 2008 until 2023. And what I would do is I would go over on the ferry, and there's a place in Edinburgh called what's it called? Cycle Exchange or something. And it's prisoners will repair old bikes, and then they'll sell them really cheap, and you can get these brilliant bikes there.
So what do you mean, like prisoners?
Prisoners,
like actual
baddies, like
That's-
criminals, bad boys, you know. They would do up these bikes and they'd sell them really cheap. You hadn't good enough.
They
in the
weren't
prison
buying
to
them
get
off
them.
them and
No,
stuff.
you weren't. It wasn't that kind of thing. Like, you didn't open it up and
You didn't have to
see
get locked up to buy a
cocaine.
bike, no?
No, you didn't. No, but I like cycling. It's good. It's good fun, and best fun you can have sitting down on a.
Then the Fringe, you were saying many years has it you done the Fringe?
I did the Fringe every year from 2008 until 2023. Yeah.
And solo shows or?
2015, I did a solo show called Rory McSwiggan Wants Nothing to Do with Himself. Do not ask me. Do not ask me. I was emceeing it. In the run up to it in 2015, we did a series of sort of fundraisers with other people that were going to the Fringe, and I was like, "What am I going to call my show?" I've got 2 choices. Number 1 is Wise Up Rory, and number 2 is Rory McSwiggan Wants Nothing to Do with Himself. And I was a crowd of people, and they said, "Wise Up Rory." Why call it Wise Up Rory? Wise Up Rory. You know. And no, the other one was Och Rory.
Och Rory.
Och Rory.
Och
You
Rory.
know. I hated people saying to me, "Och Rory." My ma would say, "Och Rory, Och Rory." Jesus, what are you doing with yourself? You know, it's wild.
But you enjoy the Fringe, and is there much happening over there when you're there? Or is it all about your show or what? Or can you go travel and look at others? Or
The Edinburgh Fringe, see, for a comedian, the Edinburgh Fringe can be whatever you want it to be. You can go and you can do a show like Peter E. Davidson is on his 8th show at the minute. It's like
sounds exhausting.
well, his 8th year. He's going to do like 26 shows when you're there. And that's the thing. You go and you get a slot, and you are there every day, and you're dedicated to doing that show. And what I did from 2008. 2008, I kind of wasn't really doing comedy. It was only like 2011 when I actually started doing comedy.
Right.
And I would go 2011, 12, 13, 14. I would go and I didn't actually have a show, but when you're there, there's shows literally everywhere. Like if you imagine that it was in the centre of Derry, it would be in the Thirsty Goat. It would be in the charity shop. It would be.
Oh, right, that.
You know, it would.
Okay,
Yeah, seriously, it would
it's not
be.
just pubs and
no,
cafes.
it's not
No,
just pubs. The thing, you'll go into a show in the Edinburgh Fringe, and it'll be in the lecture theatre of a university, or you'll. There's a place where I did it in the Three Sisters pub, and it was somebody's show was in the staff room. It was in the staff room
and the pub
for the pub for the people.
Right.
So there was like 10 seats, and it was like, oh, what's that funny? They're calling it the staff room. No, it's the staff room. That's what it is. Yeah.
So what way does that work? Do you sell tickets for it, or is it one of them ones?
You can sell tickets, or you can
Donations.
You can do it free. There's lots of different ways of doing it. There's a really, really good book called How to Write and Perform an Edinburgh Fringe Comedy Show, and it's a really, really good book by this guy who's done it every year. And there's a couple of different sort of organisations. There's a free fringe organisation, so it's not exactly free. It's not free. That's the thing.
No, I would say
Edinburgh Fringe is not free. If you want to do like a big show, and there's venues that are called like the Big Four. There's the Big Four venues. They're called like the Assembly Rooms, the Pleasance, and they would be in like University of Edinburgh buildings and lecture theatres and halls and sports halls and wee theatres and stuff like that. So you would go to them. You pay them a set amount. They get you a room. And then they get you a technician, they get you a microphone. So they're all very professional and stuff. So it could be anything from like a £1,500 to £5,000, depending on what you want. You know, that's what you're dealing with. But with the free fringe organisations that emerged in the past 10 to 15 years, you're paying like 50 quid, and you get. You get I'm not saying it's less professional. It's all still professional, but you can't. I can't actually remember now. Sorry, I can't actually remember the whole thing.
You were saying
it's been a while since I did it. Yeah, you pay.
As a fringe, just for anyone that's established or anything like that, is there like an open mic night in the fringe? Could anyone do it, or? I thought I'll go along and there'll be lots of open mic nights and stuff. But the thing is that everything is kind of focused on the people who are doing shows. Right.
So you'll go over and there'll be the likes of Vittorio Angeloni doing a show. You'll get Shane Todd doing a show. You'll get, when I was there, I remember Joe Lycett was doing a show in a wee pub, room at the back of a pub, you know. And you want other people to come to your show. So say you're an Irish comedian coming over from Dublin, you will have your show, say it's at 3:45 p.m. every day. You'll get up in the morning, you'll do a bit of flyering, you go around and you say, come to my show, you tell people some jokes in the street, and you just have to do that.
Performance in the street as well.
You do performance in the street, you just go and you do that. But then the other key way of getting people to come to your show, if you're Irish or Scottish or Welsh, but particularly if you're Irish, it's really good to go on Irish showcases. So there are tens of Irish showcases.
So people actually want to see an Irish comedian, or they go for that.
There's something about. You will always
Irish
hear
madness.
Irish comedy, Three Sisters, like 45 p.m. and you'll get this English voice, and then people going, you're not Irish, mate. You're not Irish. You're not Irish. No,
but we took over the Irish and we tied them up and pulled them over.
Exactly, yeah. But that's the thing. You can't imagine people going English comedy or Welsh comedy or Scottish comedy, maybe. But
local comedy, they might call that.
Yeah, but you get people going about and they Irish comedy, and you know. So then you go to them and then you do 5-7 minutes of your stuff. And then at the end of it, you say, if you want to see more of me, come and see me at my show, which is in the Three Sisters, the Frog and Bucket, wherever, you know.
Do you have a worse place you played in Edinburgh than a best, or?
The worst place I played in Edinburgh,
or it's all good experiences, maybe.
It actually is a far more supportive and nicer environment than any other sort of comedy scene that you'll find, because everybody's in the same boat. Everybody has a show. Everybody, even you find that people who are fairly successful, who are fairly big comedians, unless they're dickheads,
of course.
You're on the same show. You know what I mean? You're all doing the same thing, so you're not going to be. There's a level. There's somewhat of a level playing field. That's what I find anyway.
Do you be on like a couch surfing app? Do you find a place to stay? Because I know it's hard to find a place. Or is it all hostels?
Place to stay. If you want.
There is an app for couch surfing. I think
there is.
Paddy has it. Paddy, what do you call it? What do you call that app you pay for? Couch surfing. There you are. Paddy's done it.
Aye.
But not for the fringe.
Not for the fringe,
reasons.
I actually know a woman in Derry who did couch surfing, and she had stipulated that she was a woman living on her own, and she had stipulated that she didn't want men on their own.
Aye.
But one time she did get a man on his own, and now they're married. No, they're not. No, they're
maybe in his head.
No. He turned up and it was like, I have nowhere else to go and I have no money. Do you know what I mean?
Did she let him?
No, she let him stay, but I think she had people round in case anything happened. Men are like, men.
Do
you ever meet them? Do you ever meet men?
Never,
Jesus,
never.
Man, Joseph, fucking hell.
No, so you says that you only started comedy when?
I started comedy in 2011, which is 14 years ago, Philly. Yeah, I know.
You must have been a very young man when you started that.
I must have been, yeah. I was 33.
What put you into comedy?
What put me into comedy? I performed for years. I did loads of performance. I did a performance.
What kind of performing first before the comedy? What?
Improvisational action theatre.
Which is kind of like comedy, is it? Would it be very similar?
It can be.
The MC side of comedy.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, I never actually got into MCing until a couple of years into comedy. But I did action theatre for years. There's a guy called James King who you might often see on the street in Derry performing. He performs with another guy called Eamon O'Donnell, and they have performed street theatre for years. And James King was a lecturer in drama at McGee, and he ran a course called Community Drama, and people came from all over Ireland, Northern Ireland, to do community drama, and he helped a lot of people from across everywhere to get into drama. People I didn't do that course, but I did a lot of action theatre stuff with him, and it wasn't. It was performing, but not sort of classic acting script type performing. It was invented by this woman called Ruth Sapora from San Francisco, and it's all about improvisation and being in the moment. And we have these scores that we would do. So one score would be something like. You got three people on the stage. One of them speaks, one of them makes sound, and one of them moves. And you're all doing this at the same time. And you just listen to each other and you improvise and you create a whole story on the stage. Sometimes it can be very boring. Sometimes, it could be
works,
awful.
it works. If it doesn't, it's like anything.
The more you are with people and you listen to them and you know them, and you have certain rules about it. So like one person will stop sounding and start speaking, and that means that the other people
has to
take their pick, and you have to be listening all the time. So it's a type of performance which is about listening, which is about being in the moment. And I did that for years with James and a couple of other people.
Do you find yourself nearly doing the same thing with him?
That was a really good grounding in learning about being on stage. We would go to places we would go to conferences We remember one time we went to a conference on poverty in Dublin with the EU, and they would have their big sort of dry discussion all day, and we would sit and listen to it, and then we would do a performance at the end of it. It was totally improvised, but it was just made up in that moment.
What got you into it? What got you actually into, or was that from school kind of thing?
No, don't mention school to me, Philly. Jesus Christ, no.
Or lack of, but it sounds it lack of school. But
no, I went to Christian Brothers Grammar School in Omagh.
That's right.
And but I was a quiet, wee, bullied boy who did not say a word to anybody. I liked sitting in the class. I didn't like the rest of it because I hated it. I just hated it. It was awful.
Yeah.
I was a wee gay boy.
Is that what made you get out of Omagh?
I was just, I was a wee gay boy, and I had 2 other friends, and they were gay as well. Yeah. And we were the gay boys in the
Jokes
school.
on you for calling me gay boy. That's one of them.
Who, what?
Jokes on you for calling me gay boy.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything like that at school. I didn't put my head above the parapet at all. And it was only when I came to Derry and I met this guy James King that I started performing.
What took you from Omagh to Derry?
From Omagh to Derry, I came to Magee to study at Magee to study a degree called Peace and Conflict Studies at University of Ulster.
I'm sure. Did you do anything after that then with a degree or?
Well, why don't you ask me questions about the Palestinian-Israeli-Palestinian conflict, and then
you will know. You will know,
and you find out if I know anything about that, or I can offer any opinion.
I don't think I can offer an opinion. I don't even know what question. Where did you say this was happening again, or what?
And it was a course called Peace and Conflict Studies, and it still runs on a postgraduate format.
It still runs, but the Troubles doesn't.
The Troubles, and you know what the thing was? This was in 1995, and the IRA ceasefire.
Ready to start it back up.
1994.
They were ready to start it back up.
Let's for fuck's sake! I'm going to do this thing now in Derry. I was meant to be the Troubles, were meant to be on. I was meant to be in the middle of the Troubles and everything. And now the fucking IRA are fucking.
I have to fly to Iraq now for my fucking stuff.
Yeah. So it was like but it was history, it was politics, and it was all that stuff. And I liked all
boring,
that.
Rory.
It sounds awful.
Sounds all things boring.
It would have been if the Troubles hadn't ended, Philly. If the Troubles hadn't still been going on, you know.
Maybe they were trying to just start it back up. Let's start this course and see if we can.
Yeah. No, but it was a good course. It was really good, and it taught me about writing and about developing arguments. But what I always really wanted to do as well was make films. And the thing was that if you go to if you're going to a Christian Brothers Grammar School in the 90s. You know, they're not interested in people who want to be filmmakers and comedians, you know. They did have drama and stuff like that, but it was in Irish and I couldn't speak Irish, you know. So, but no, they you know, you were encouraged to do history and politics and medicine and all that kind of things. So I sort of went, oh God, what am I going to do here? You know, I can't actually do what I want to do. You go look back to that school now, and they're doing creative media arts. They're doing all sorts of things like that. So, you know, it's there's much more opportunities in the creative industries and stuff like that now, and people have realised that the creative industries are actually important, are important in the economy now. It's not great, you know. You say you want to be a filmmaker, you still say you want to be a comedian to your parents. They're not immediately seeing 50 to 100 grand a year. Do you know what I mean?
And was people supportive when you says about this, coming to Derry to do these kind of things, or in the family? I mean, more or
no?
Your family still in Omagh, or do they all?
No, my family live in Donegal now. No, I mean, Ma said, I was looking in the paper, Rory, and there was this list of dud degrees that won't get you a job, and your degree was in it. Oh, my parents, my poor parents. I have 3 other brothers. One of them went to do English. The other 2 did art. You know, I have my mother's sisters, family, my cousins. There's 5 of them, and all of them are doctors. You know, but their parents are teachers.
They're missing out. They're not in front of cameras, Roy. They're not. They're missing out.
Oh no, they could be.
All downhill for them.
All very articulate Waynes. No, but a very good decision to have your Waynes all be doctors. You know, for your
I would rather them all be tradesmen of some kind. Yeah. So if anything in the house breaks or something, you can get it sorted.
Aye, exactly, exactly. You know, that was also very important. My dad always taught us to fix things, you know, as well. So that was a big thing.
So when you started comedy, was it straight on the chicken box, or
no?
How did you start?
Actually, the way I got into comedy was there was a guy, a Derry comedian, actually called Michael Porter, who now is a comedian in Scotland, and he has a comedy club in Edinburgh. And he came to. We used to perform in Café Del Mondo. On Shipquay Place, and me and James would do all our conferences and stuff like that. But me and him developed a sort of double act of our own then, and he came along to Café Del Mondo, and he said, "I'm doing a comedy gig tomorrow night in the the bar on Park Avenue,
Park Bar,
the Phoenix,
the Phoenix,
the Phoenix."
Ah, right.
He was doing a comedy night upstairs in the Phoenix. And this was a Wednesday, and he said, "I'm doing it Thursday." And I had actually been thinking about doing comedy for a long time. And I had written all these, I'd written in this Google Doc all these bits of things that I was going to say. They're not jokes, they were just things I was going to say, you know. Because
hope someone funny can give you a punchline from the audience.
Yeah, and there was, exactly, which often happens, which is it's a very good thing to do. So I went, I wrote all these, I had all these things, looked over them. I was like, geez, I'm going to do my first gig tomorrow night, oh my God. And I went out the line on my bike, and I had recorded all of this on my phone, and I listened to it, and I must have listened to it about 25 times, and I got up and I did it, and nobody laughed.
Nobody laughed at you just reading out words?
No. Some people did laugh, but...
Is that like me? They laughed you off?
Yeah, exactly. But it was being up on the stage, but the main thing about it was meeting the other comedians that were there. There was a couple of guys from Dublin that were there, and there was one other guy from Derry. But meeting those people and getting encouragement from them was something that I didn't expect to find, you know.
That's massive in the comedy world. When I done Benagin's that first night too with yourself, I was just full of encouragement. You were expecting. It's not one of them crafts of people's like, oh, if he's doing this, he's taking my role, or he's doing this, or I do that as well. Yeah. It's not do you just, doesn't it? And everyone pushes you further for it.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. And like I set up Chicken Box Comedy in 2018, and that's when I had been doing comedy for 7 years. And what I wanted to do was create a space where people could come and do comedy. And because the thing was that comedy clubs and events in Derry, up to that point, they were either monthly, like Peter E. Davison runs in Brickwork, which is brilliant and great, and brings in people and local people as well. But they were like, let's have a big comedy event. Let's charge, charge money, put out posters, promote it. Oh, let's do a big comedy event. I wanted an event that was on every week, that wasn't big headliner people, that was just a comedy club where people could come, where people who liked comedy.
10 friends came to support one of their friends kind of thing.
Because you'll hear people who like comedy and do comedy, And you ask them, people who go to see comedy, like your friends who go to see comedy, do you like comedy? Yeah. What do you like? We go to the Millennium Forum and we see, Tommy Tiernan, Dylan Moran, people like that. That's great. But where did Dylan Moran and Tommy Tiernan come from? They came from playing in a place. So what I wanted to do was give Derry a place where people could start out and go, and people come from.
Was there anywhere like that locally before? I know Chicken Box is the first in Derry, but I mean like Belfast. Would you had to go to Belfast to do something like this at the time?
The only other weekly comedy club in Northern Ireland is the Pavilion, Monday Comedy at the Pavilion, run by Luke McGibbon, and that's a really good showcase for people. It's in the Pavilion Bar in Belfast, and it's a great space. It's kind of a bigger space though than Benagin's. Benagin's I like because it's nice and intimate. You can fit max 45 people in that room. You've got the sort of Benagin's is a really, really supportive bar for creative people. It's run by creative people. The bar staff you'll find will be sort of like actors, filmmakers, artists, and they've always done really, really good creative stuff. So having a comedy club in there was like,
tell alone just seeing the posters when you're walking in and see the different posters of the different things that was
exactly,
there. Very creative.
And before Chicken Box, I was I was the host of a game show called Let's Get Quizzical, which was written by the barman, who was a writer, who is called Matthew McDevitt, and he's gone on now to write like episodes of Casualty, BBC radio dramas, short stories. So he's like now a full-time writer. And it was just he had no interest in performing, but he was like, saw me doing comedy and was like, do you want to do this? But he wanted me to do it as a character, as a game show, a sort of faded game show host called Les Ismore.
And did it work
at
the time?
It worked brilliantly, yeah. It was chaotic, and
can I talk about something that's chaotic, that works, and that I really enjoyed in the night of Max's show was your checkout.
My checkout.
What the hell happened that night in Max's show? What the first night I was at? What the hell happened in that show? That was class. It was the best I've ever seen that performed.
Right, very good.
The best I've ever seen that performed.
I remember very little about it, but yeah.
All I remember is, I don't know, everyone in the crowd was standing, shouting, chuck out checkout is. Do you want to explain what it is first?
Chuck out checkout. The price of shite.
The price of shite works.
Where I go to, so Chicken Box starts at 9 o'clock, and I'll go down to M&S at 8 o'clock, and I'll just yellow sticker. Does your ma or anybody, any women, have a yellow sticker fucking radar?
I know a few people, right?
Yeah. So I've always been like that about the yellow sticker stuff. My God, that whole cake there, it was £16. I got it for £2. That is the biggest achievement. Oh my God! And that'll go round my family, So I go down, I get the stuff, and I say, right, here we have chicken fajitas. They used to be £6. What have they been reduced to? And people who were sitting like that. 5 minutes ago, will be go 59p, 150, 149, and I go too cheap, too dear, too cheap. Seriously, and people who don't even want to be there are like scoldering out of them, So then that's the start of the show.
It definitely gets a crowd.
Oh, it gets a crowd going. People love a good golder.
What was 120 people At Max's show. How did you hear even one of them?
I know, exactly, yeah. And then I think your Waynes were sitting in the front row.
I
and
had my older fella.
They were going, what's going on here, Daddy? What is this,
He
Daddy?
just got hit up with fist.
Yeah, and I just
what was
gave
it,
it to him.
cupcakes or something? He says, I didn't even shout nothing, and I was just hit up the fist with cupcakes.
Yeah, so he got cupcakes out of it, yeah, Galaxy cupcakes, yeah.
And can you remember how much they were and how much?
Oh, I don't remember those
What
kind of
best
things.
item you came across?
Best item I came across? Oh, God. Probably was... Those Galaxy cupcakes were pretty good. Yeah. They were very good. I think they were £15, reduced to like $3.50. Yeah.
Right.
So
that's about...
That's
one they send their mommy, was
it?
it?
Yeah, exactly.
Send
yeah.
Well, down home they Donegal.
She'd be completely delighted, yeah, for that, yeah.
She's just raising your hand and stuff out.
yeah. When she actually discovered this, my brother worked there years ago, and they give a staff discount, and she went to pick him up. He was like 16 or 17, and she went to pick him back, and he was like, "Come on round the back, do you see this?" And he showed her this skip full of bread and croissants and tins of beans and cakes, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, I never thought this would happen to me. Thank you, Lord." And it was free, tick,
It's a wonder she ever let him leave the job.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she was raging then when he actually left.
Where did the name Chicken Box come from?
Where does that chicken box come from? Chicken box.
Where's the name? Is it the Derry food
It's the
chicken
Derry.
box?
It's the Derry chicken box. I wanted something that sounded Derry enough, and there was a comedy club in Belfast run by my friend Marcus Keeley. It was called Voice Box, and there was another one as well. There was loads of boxes, so it was like, and there's something about, are ye chicken? Are ye, Marty McFly sort of thing? To do this, and so it was like, the point of it is to you can come, and you can feel.
So that's more
and you can just
teasing your friend, are you chicken? They do chicken box.
A wee bit
more
like
than
that,
Right,
yeah.
excellent.
Loads
Great.
of that kind of things, yeah. But I don't think it'll ever replace the Derry chicken box. People.
I think you're number one on the chicken box list at the minute.
Right, yeah.
Do you keep account of how many people came through chicken boxes doors they do stand up? Do you know how many people you give a chance or put that mic in front of, roughly, or maybe it's not a thing you
who are now
think
in
much
jail, you mean? Or
that's who are now making bikes in Edinburgh.
yeah, exactly, yeah. Well, there's a couple of people who started out that would never have done it before, that because that's what I wanted to do, to provide a sort of non-intimidating environment. But there's probably about 10 or 15 people locally who maybe got up and did it, tried it, liked it, but maybe didn't have the time or didn't like it, and were like, no, this is not what I wanted to do. But that it's to have that opportunity, there for people is what's important,
Have you seen anyone grow from it, starting chicken box and now became a name?
Yeah, he's just walked in the door, actually.
That's him. Who is that?
Mr. Darren McKay, our comedian in residence, has just walked in the door.
What's Darren McKay's job in chicken box? Darren McKay has an interesting one.
Darren McKay is our comedian in residence who gives us our flat cap recap every week.
Flat cap recap.
Yeah, because see, with a comedy club where you don't necessarily have a big name, a headline act every week, you want to end it on a high. So what Darren comes up and he writes his set during the show, and he is inspired by all the other things the comedians say. So we'll have 8 comedians, and Darren will be writing away, and I'll be like, "This boy's not on his phone. He's just, he's actually writing.
He's not ignoring everybody."
And Darren will come up, and I think it's a really good way.
It's a great touch. So it is. I've never seen it done before. Never seen it.
Yeah, it's. I think
jokes about jokes.
It's really good. Yeah. It's, or just bits of Darren's life that he remembers that he just was triggered. Long buried memories.
And I know you don't like bringing in guests or anything like that there, as you say, big names or whatever, but...
Oh, I do like it.
You like it, but who is the biggest name that you had?
Yeah, we've had William Thompson, we have had Mickey Bartlett. Who else have we had, Darren?
He's hilarious.
I think I could guess about it.
William Thompson.
Max Roddy. Max Roddy.
Max Roddy, we've had the wonderful Max Roddy, and it's been great actually to have Max, because somebody who is locally working, on video and stuff like that, who also has a grounding in performance and theatre and stuff locally, and that's been really good to have that, because it's about having local people on. A typical lineup would be, say, probably 2-3 Derry comedians, and then maybe 4 Belfast people and 2 Donegal people, which is fantastic, because like 10-15 years ago, you didn't have any Derry comedians on lineups in comedy clubs in Derry, and that was the point. The whole point of it was to get local people out doing comedy and have that culture of comedy going on,
So Chicken Box, that's Thursday night, every Thursday night, or there's one missed a month, isn't there?
Yeah, so Peter and Ivan have been running Brickwork for the past 12-13 years. So, and their slot was always the first Thursday of the month.
So that's the only slot you don't do?
That's the only slot we don't do. So the first Thursday of the month, go up to Brickwork. Rest of the Thursdays.
How do you get tickets, or much as tickets, or?
You can just search Chicken Box Comedy on Google, or you can go to Eventbrite, and it's pay what you want tickets. You don't have to pay for your tickets, but you can make a donation if you want. And we also live stream the show.
What app do you use?
We it's on YouTube. But it's
do you live stream it through Patreon?
Through Patreon, yeah. So during lockdown, we had Chicken Box online every week and we had, I couldn't believe how it happened. The local people sort of tended to fritter away, and then we had people coming on from Hawaii, from Italy, from Australia, and we would just have this show. And a lot of online people, what they tended to do in Zoom shows, there was loads of Zoom comedy going on, and a lot of people tended not to leave their microphones on. So if you went onto other Zoom comedy shows, you were doing your set to people who were,
I do,
or
that's
dead, they living, you know what I mean? So it was an interesting experiment, but we just left our mics on. And didn't really matter, there was feedback and all that kind of stuff, but it was like, it
was like you were back on the club nearly.
Yeah. So, it worked out really well.
What way does that work if you leave everyone's mic on? Does one mic overpower the rest
of
them?
Well, everybody has to wear headphones. If everyone wears headphones in a Zoom call, then you don't get the leak and you don't get the feedback. So we just made everyone wear headphones, and I would send them these detailed instructions, and then they were like, "Fuck that! I'm not doing this." No,
I'm not, come to our comedy club. Here's all our strict rules. Eh?
Yeah. It was a wee bit like that.
And joke-wise, what do you aim towards? Do you have any jokes that you just can't talk about, or is there any no-go topics, or
no?
Do you think comedy should be able to be comedy across the board about everything or anything?
Yeah,
or should there be
I think comedy should be able to be within the law. You know what I mean? Within the law.
The law of comedy, or the law?
No,
of
the
general?
law of the land. No, as long as you don't incite violence. You know what I mean? Which is in Northern Ireland. Is the amount of times?
How do you not say someone in Northern Ireland and not incite
exactly,
violence?
exactly. sometimes
You can say hello to Grumpy Lawrence in one of his videos, and he looks very violent. I see one of the videos that he done it was someone says all right to him, and he was losing it. So
I think
even
you should,
a simple hello.
No, but you see, for me, comedy is not. Comedy can be about anything. You know, this. My mother's a nurse who was there for 45 years throughout all the shit, and she worked in Belfast, she worked in Derry, she worked in Enniskillen, and you know, she's the darkest, sickest person you will, and I dread to think of some of the shit that went down
Has she ever done
between
chicken
her and
box?
doctors and nurses and stuff. No, but actually I get a lot. I go to see me ma, and she will come out with stories of people she met. And some of my material is actually literally just stories that she told me.
So you can't have her on chicken box because
I
that's
can't,
all your
no.
material.
Yeah, exactly.
And ruled on day one, that's all your material.
Yeah, but for me, comedy just it just comes from all the stuff in life, you know. And I'm not trying to. I'm trying to make people laugh, but I'm not saying, oh, this is all happy and nice, because life is not all happy and nice. Life is everything. So why not make comedy about everything? You know, obviously, you know, I cross the line sometimes, and you realise you've crossed the line. My favourite comedians is Joan Rivers, who sadly passed away, but she was awful. She was appalling about people. You know, she would say the worst stuff about people. You know, and you've seen her. If you ever look up Joan Rivers on Graham Norton, and she's sitting there with the biggest Hollywood celebrities, and she's saying stuff about their mates. You know, and she just says it.
So this again, it was a landlord, and there was something happening for your house. No, was that Joan Rivers? No.
Joan, was that? No, I don't know. She died in 2018, I think it was, wasn't it? Yeah. I'm not sure.
But no, did you ever have to take someone off a stage for a dark joke? And chicken box, have you ever
No,
had
I
to say,
would
"Whoa,
never.
stop"?
No,
Or, no,
I wouldn't.
You
I
couldn't.
wouldn't do that. No, it would be. I think it would be wrong to take someone off the stage for
Or even
saying something.
tell them to lighten it up. But even no, there's no rules, Ken. When they're up there, that's their show.
No,
Do as you
people
please, nearly.
people can say whatever they like. You know, when Chris Rock made the joke at the Oscars about Will Smith's wife, and Will Smith got up there and punched Chris Rock. The interesting thing about that, I remember talking to people the next day, the next week, was where they were about that. Who were they for? Who were they anti? You know, and I was very surprised at the amount of people who were against Chris Rock for what he said, rather than going up on live television and slapping. Was it a slap or a punch?
Slap, I think it was.
It was a slap. Yeah,
Bitch slap.
and you know. If you want to answer that, an answer to that question, think about where you were when you heard about that. When somebody made a joke on a stage, and then the husband of the person, got up and slapped them. So you will know where you are about free speech, about comedy, and about violence, and all of those things from your initial reaction. Remember what your initial reaction was to that.
I loved Will Smith until that moment.
Right.
I don't like him no more. I just don't.
Yeah.
No, didn't like it. That's, as you say,
There you
free
go.
speech, stuff like that. There,
That moment, go back and watch it on YouTube.
they didn't
The
say
whole thing.
You know, G.I. Jane. That's.
Yeah, well,
I know the whole background.
You could write an opera. You could write a book
A
about
book for them,
the
never
whole
mind
thing.
just-
Seriously, somebody probably has written an opera on a fringe stage in New York about that moment. Look at her, the way she looks, the way she looks at him, the way he looks at her. Because what happens is he laughs first at the fucking joke, and then straightens his face up. And what's going on in his head at that moment about your man on the stage, about his wife, about him as Hollywood celebrity? You don't have to be a Hollywood celebrity. You can be anybody and identify with all of those people in that moment, because everybody has been there in that moment at that time. But just ask yourself about that. You know, but to answer your question, the only time that I ever approached the stage to take somebody off was a comedian who made a joke about his disability. And this comedian is well known for making jokes about his disability. I won't name him. His way of attracting women would be to exploit his disability and fall down at the feet of the women so that they would be like, oh, Carl, you all right? And he was going on. I was going, Jesus Christ, he's 5 minutes over. So I got up and I literally went...
Did you push him down?
And fell. And that
was more about going over time than it was anything.
I'm not.
It was a shut up.
Yeah, that was it.
So what's next for Rory or Chicken Box? With Chicken Box, does Chicken Box travel?
Chicken Box will be travelling to Belfast this weekend. We're doing the Accidental Theatre Bitter Fringes.
And do you put it on as Chicken Box is coming to that? Right, excellent.
It's Chicken Box Takeover. So we've got mostly Derry comedians. We've got some Belfast comedians, some of our favourite Belfast and other Northern Ireland comedians as well. So that'll be good fun.
What about yourself? Are you doing a show yourself? Are you looking to?
I'm going to Amsterdam actually to do some comedy in Amsterdam. Cycle about during the day, go to comedy in the evening.
Have you ever done a full show locally?
I've done a full show locally. Yeah, in 2015 when I did that show, I did it in Sandino's and I did it in I can't remember where else I did it. Yeah, I did it in Sandino's, and then took it to Edinburgh. But the thing about doing a show is that the thing about the show is a show will be maybe around a theme, or it'll be a compilation of all the bits that you've done in the past year or something. I looked at all the bits that I'd done and I realised that I hated half of them. So I didn't have a 45-minute show. I had at most a 25-minute show that I wanted to perform.
Does that happen a lot then when you perform the jokes that you're like, oh, it's not working?
You get a bit of material and you go, oh, for fuck's sake, I couldn't bother doing this. You know what I mean? I hate the words that come out of my mouth that I've repeated 1,500 times, and I hate them. That's why I like MCing. You see, with MCing, you just get into that room and it's not about you. You just, somebody says, my favourite question at the minute to ask members of the audience is, how much pocket money did you get when you were a child? And that'll tell you so much about that person and whatever they say, where they're from. You know, somebody born in the 70s will tell you, I'll go 10p. And then, my dad will give me a 50 quid a week. Oh, fuck, 50 quid. And then everyone looks at them, you know. That's a beautiful question to ask people. Is that specific type of thing. But you get people, a room. The role of the MC is to get a room full of people relaxed enough so that they will laugh at the comedians and just, you know, and see a question like that will link Sinead, who's sitting over in the corner of the room on her own, with Michael, who is there with his wife, with Patricia, who's sitting in the middle, and they will all just, you go from a group of people sitting in a room to an audience. Basically,
from individuals, they all together.
It turns them into an audience, you know, and then, you know, in the break, Sinead will say something to Michael about that. And you know, your role is just to link people up, to make a connection between them. You don't actually have to be that funny. You don't have to do jokes, but you just have to make that connection between those people.
Have to,
you know, sometimes I say, oh, okay, do you want now people who actually tell some jokes and stuff, you know, rather than me
nobody's
just
laughed yet, let's get someone
and asking you personal questions about your life, you know.
What's the most, how personal do you get?
Depends how personal. It can get a bit weird sometimes. It can get a bit strange sometimes. Sometimes you find yourself, the first thing that enters your head when somebody answers the question, whatever it is too personal. And if you said what was in your mind at that point, they would go, fuck you, Jesus Christ.
Oh, so you actually think before you speak? What's that like?
I don't, oh God, it's. I think it's just. Yeah, I try not to do too much thinking. I think that's it. You don't think too much. But you don't say the first thing that comes into your head either. But it's the kind of thing, Phil, you can only learn if you
can't
just
stand
keep
there
doing
froze like me.
Yeah, but I think you've come to the chicken box a couple of times, and you've done really good material. I really liked your material. You need to be. See, the thing about the stage is that I find doing this here and this is kind of like being on the stage. But I find being on the stage easier than being in everyday life. Right. I find it easier. I find being on the stage. Yeah. It's the boundaries are set up. See, in a pub where there's just loads of people and you can be interrupted and somebody's going to talk over you and stuff like that. That's not my ideal environment. You know, I like being on a stage because there's a contract in society where people go, somebody puts a microphone up there, there's going to be all these seats facing that person, there's going to be a light on them. Everybody knows what that is. Everybody knows there's a contract there and there's boundaries set up. And for me, those boundaries give me the freedom to do whatever I want.
So someone like me that kind of did freeze on stage once or twice or 3 times or 4 times or 5, what advice would you give to try and overcome that? Just what advice would you give to me?
I would say, what I give to all new people who are just starting out, I'll get them to before the show starts, before anyone's there. I think I did this with you. Just stand there and look out, and so that you're not the first time you get up there, you're not going, oh Jesus, these lights, those people, all that kind of thing, all that. You have to. What's in my head
more probably for me.
Empty your mind of all thoughts, but you can't empty your mind of all thoughts. Well, what is it when you get up there? What is it? Do you think that stops?
If I've practiced the material in the house and I say something wrong or something different, I think everyone knows I've said that wrong, or I nearly think these people in the audience are reading what I'm saying and they're like, oh no, he says that wrong, or he mixed that up, or
no.
And then I need to get across the fact that it doesn't matter if I get it wrong because I don't know if it's wrong or right.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's.
I think
I broke it down. That's what I came out with myself.
Yeah, the thing I tell people is that you need to, as a comedian, realize that everybody sitting there wants you to succeed. An audience doesn't want to see other people feel. They don't want to see that.
They don't want a bad show. Comedians don't want to be up after or before someone.
I think you need to know that those boundaries are there, and they're there for your safety, and they're there to make you. I think you just need to trust in that space more.
Trust the people out there want to see you do well, not
exactly.
That's excellent. Great. Thank you. Is there anything else you want to plug or you want to chat about? I know most of the things that you have coming up all soon, isn't it? Or is there anything that's coming up later on when this comes out that
I'm hosting a blind date? Would you believe that?
Blind date?
Blind date.
When and where?
On the 29th of September in the Tulnaree in Carndonagh.
Tulnaree, Simpsons, I know it.
Yeah, so who knows? I said to somebody today I was doing it who's from Carndonagh, and they said, that's a very bad idea.
I know a lot of people from Carndonagh. So
all right, okay. That's good stuff.
I'll put it out there. What about a couple of rapid fire questions?
Okay,
funny,
cool.
Right?
Yeah.
Answer like you're the MC and we just need to answer as it comes, I'm sure Darren enjoys this. So do you laugh at your own jokes?
Yeah, a lot, Into myself.
Would you ever do stand-up naked?
Yeah.
Yep. Have you ever stolen someone's jokes?
Inadvertently. I have taken bits from other people's jokes, but like rather like Darren, being inspired by them, and then people go like, "That's my bit." Oh, right, But I
You
actually,
don't die.
honestly, I didn't even realize I was doing it.
It's that hard to tell the difference sometimes. That if you're, I know a lot of people come and they practice stuff on chicken box, so they're saying the same thing probably a lot. Can that go into your head and you think I wrote that, or is that what you mean? It just comes out of your mouth and you're like, oh shit, that
it's more like they're just inspired. There's a comedian called Rachel McPeak, and she does this thing about it's really strange if you thought it would be sectarian if she said Protestants, and then she mentions all these things about Protestants. And that are stereotypes for Protestants, and then she was like, "But you're really good. You're far better than Catholics at making 15s." And then I did another bit about Ballymena or something, and I associated Ballymena then with Protestants with 15s. I was like, "That's her bit." Fuck. Oh no, I only realised later. So that's what happens sometimes.
Have you ever walked off stage and just cried?
No.
No.
No, I have walked off stage and I was off fags and I bought fags because it had gone badly. And smoked them.
Here's something I think I might be able to answer for you because I might have heard you do it. But have you ever laughed at another comedian's joke just to be polite?
Oh God, yeah.
Would you host chicken box in a chip shop? Someone asked me to ask you.
In a chip shop?
Aye, chicken box in the chip shop.
In a chicken shop? Not even a chicken shop?
Chicken box. Aye, 4th Street.
Yeah, why not?
How much of what you do is winged and how much is prepared when it comes to MCing?
When it comes to MCing, it's all winged.
It's just just there's nothing. Maybe you have a joke.
You
might have to throw in every now and then to see if it works.
You'll do materials. No, it's 80% of it is winged. Yeah. But it's not. As I said, it's not even jokes. Or material. It's just connection. It's just connection with people. A lot of the time, you look at people and they're smiling rather than laughing, and that's good. That's good for what your job is.
The last one now, right? Would you rather fight 1 horse-sized chicken or 10 chicken-sized Rorys?
Would I rather fight 1 horse-sized chicken?
Or 10 chicken-sized Rorys?
10 chicken-sized Rorys? Jesus Christ.
Come on, Rory. That's
revolting.
The important questions of the day.
I would rather fight 1 horse-sized chicken. I would rather,
At least you can cook it afterwards. You can cook 10 Rorys after.
That would be beautiful, yeah.
You wouldn't eat Rorys, could you?
Maybe. Can you imagine the smell of that? Fucking hell. God almighty, yeah.
And is there anything you'd rather plug or want to wrap up with or anything at all?
No, just Chicken Box Comedy on Instagram, Chicken Box Comedy on Facebook, TikTok, just put in Chicken Box Comedy. And Rory McSwiggan on Instagram.
Aye, and it's every Thursday night.
Every Thursday night, come along, just see what happens.
Donation tickets, Patreon,
Eventbrite tickets. Yeah.
Event, sorry. Yeah. Excellent.
Good man.
Class, Rory.
Thank
Great to have you
much,
on.
Philly. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.